SoundOff, Louisiana's premier television sports talk show, is on deck from the Caesars Sportsbook at Horseshoe Lake Charles. The three wise guys are mic'd up and ready. SoundOff begins now.
Welcome in. Hope you had a wonderful and joyous Christmas, and hope you're keeping that holly jolly spirit going on, all right?
Yes.
That's very important. Glad to have you with us. This is a special holiday week. We got special shows all week. This show here is so good. It's going to be so good. It's going to air in our combo show Saturday night at 11 on CBS Lake Charles.
Always good.
And it will air the following Tuesday, which will be New Year's Eve night. So
Yes.
you got to tape it. Check us out on YouTube or watch it live if you're not out with all the crazies on New Year's Eve. That's how
Be
special
safe, no
pressure
matter
on
what,
us.
but
What's
be
that?
safe,
You're
though.
putting the pressure on.
The pressure is
I gotta
on,
get
Ryan
my
Day.
game
Are you going to
face.
respond,
I
Ryan
got to
Day?
get my A game.
You got to have your A game. All right, we're going to preview, get our Wise Guys picks for round two. That would be the quarterfinals of
Yes.
CFP. 4 intriguing games. We got that coming up. A favorite of mine, a Louisiana Soul, is coming home to play for the New Orleans Saints. We'll have
Yes.
that later on in the show.
Yes.
Remember, our show production was canned before that, can meaning kind of in the can, so to speak. Little TV lingo
Yeah.
there.
You're giving us the
Bef-
lingo
A
there?
little lingo there.
Okay.
Before the Texas Bowl, LSU and Baylor. So we'll have our debate on that particular game like January
Yes.
2 or 3 the
3,
following
yeah.
week because of the holiday schedule. That's coming up, but we don't want to ignore
January
that.
2.
And
We'll
in
have
the
a lot to
fourth
say about
chair
that.
tonight, which will give us a special part of our show, Iowa head football coach Tommy Johns will sit down to talk about what he is building in Iowa
Yeah.
with Yellow Jacket football, his run in the state playoffs, and we're going to pick this guy's brain in regards to high school recruiting, the status of that, this JUCO injunction, the portal,
It's
you
a lot-
name it.
It's a different world.
It's
out
a
there,
whole
Rick.
different world, and
It
he's
is.
on the front line.
It is,
High school
Rick.
football, he's on the front line.
It is.
That's coming up later on
That's
in the
gonna be
show in the
exciting to
fourth
talk
show. All right,
about, though.
let's
It
put
is.
the eggnog down and let's get going. Does anybody drink eggnog in it?
I
you
do.
drink eggnog?
I drink eggnog.
I have
do.
never drank
I
eggnog
love
in
it.
my life.
I love eggnog. I love it.
I don't get it.
You know, I don't know.
How much whiskey is in your eggnog?
I
though?
don't, I don't do that.
Nah, I know
Come
you
on
don't.
now.
I honestly cannot
I love eggnog. I do.
say that I have ever
I have never.
drank
Are you
eggnog.
serious?
Never.
Just the sound.
Y'all
The
gotta
sound
live.
of it. He's
Y'all have
right.
to
The
live.
sound
Eggnog.
of it would
You're not living, man.
scares me away.
You
I
know
don't
they got
get
like
it.
all sorts of different types of eggnog.
How
Not just
can
one.
you drink
You got
something
different.
called nog?
No.
Nog?
All right, let's get on the
Drink
games.
a nog.
Games one by one. You're going to get our picked winners here. All right. This one intrigues me the most because of just the way I am. Georgia Sugar Bowl against Notre Dame. You know I go deep with Notre Dame. I'll go right off the bat. Georgia's going to win the game, but I think this Fighting Irish might have some fight in them against the
They
Bulldogs.
played
I
pretty
do
much
too.
a perfect game
I do too.
in their opener.
Yes.
Against an outmatched Indiana
Yes,
team.
they were a bit outmatched.
Let's see if they can play another perfect game. Now, they
yeah.
do have the advantage. Georgia doesn't have this Carson Beck, their starting quarterback.
Starting quarterback's
No,
out.
you're right.
But
You're right.
he hadn't been the real key to that team all year anyway.
No, I agree.
He's
Now,
had a down year.
He might be.
He had, yeah. But this Gunnar Stockton, you listen to Kirby Smart, and I love Kirby Smart.
Look, let me-
he
do
says
too.
this guy's a winner, a gamer, and he says
showed
he has
it.
no problems
He
with
showed
Gunnar
it, Rick.
Stockton.
Well,
He
what do you
did.
expect Kirby to
He
say?
showed No.
We got no
There's
chance.
the cynical nature of you again.
It is,
We're
it
in
is,
the
but that's
holiday
what-
week.
Look,
Can't
let me
you
say this.
believe in what the guy says?
Well,
he
I've
likes
heard-
his
let me
quarterback.
say
I've
this,
heard
guys.
45 years of coach speak.
When you got a game like this,
Sometimes they're
when
giving
you
it
got
to
a
you
game
straight.
like this, Rick, it's hard to pick it because Georgia doesn't have their starting quarterback. But this guy that's in there, this is when Kevin Guidry says, you know there's a game that a coach can sometimes win?
Yeah.
This might be
Well,
the one.
Freeman's a
When
good
E.F.
coach.
Hutton speaks.
Yeah,
This
but
might be the
Freeman's a
one.
good coach, though.
He
at
is a
Notre
good
Dame.
coach, but Kirby, Kirby's a great coach.
Well, he's got
man.
a couple of national titles and
Kirby's a
SEC
great
titles. I
coach,
got
man.
you there. Look, one thing about this quarterback, though, the word out of Georgia is he's a Garrett Nussmeier a la. Georgia homegrown, always wanted to play
Yeah.
for the Dogs. I'm
Yeah.
all in for the Dogs. He's
Look.
kind of that way.
Look.
He's young. I get it.
Yeah.
He's sophomore. I got it. All right, let's stay with the SEC. Texas, who dumped all over Clemson. I thought it was a pretty good game. All right. Arizona State, surprise Big 12 champ, youngest coach in college football.
Yeah.
34 years
34.
old.
Yeah.
Kenny Dillingham.
And I
34.
tell you,
34
I
years
have
old.
seen Arizona State a couple of times, and I was very impressed.
I've seen a couple of them. Yeah.
I was very
I was too.
impressed.
I was too.
love that running. What's the running back?
Skeetum, Skibo,
Scatterboo.
Scatterboo. We're going to call him Scatterboo, yeah.
They
I
said,
had him
look-
third on my Heisman
You
ballot.
did.
Look,
yeah.
But you worry about the stage for them.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they had a bye. That's kind of a flaw in the seeding,
Yeah.
but they had a bye.
Yeah.
Scooter missed the whole point about the guy named Skidaboo.
Skidaboo. Skidaboo.
They say that this kid has the largest head in college football. Did y'all see that special?
He
Said he's got the largest head in college
You
football.
mean physically?
Physically.
Head. It's
Physically.
pretty big. He's Ironhead. He's Ironhead, baby. Yeah. Hell, look.
Where
What
have you
size
been?
helmet
Where have
does
you
he
been?
wear?
Come
taking
on,
bets?
guys, guys.
How did he miss this?
Stay on the
paper?
program. Who's going to win the game? I'm picking Texas in a mile
Texas.
blowout.
Texas.
Mile blowout.
Texas win.
think
I just
that-
had to
I'm
throw that in,
picking
guys.
Texas, but
had to
I
throw
think
that
it
in.
might be closer. than you
Single
think.
digit?
Texas, I think.
Oh,
Single
yeah,
digit?
yeah.
I'm
I
thinking
think
mile
Texas.
blow. All right. This might be the marquee matchup. Number 1 Oregon against Ohio State. The Ducks beat them by 1 earlier in the Big Ten schedule. Only by 1.
And
Look.
this one is at the Rose Bowl.
I think it's the
Rose Bowl,
Rose
yeah,
Bowl.
yeah. Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
Oregon, Ohio State sounds like a Rose Bowl game.
It should
doesn't
be.
it?
Look,
You're right. You're right.
Look, guys, I'm going Oregon. They just.
Dan Lanning,
I'll go
the
with
head
you.
coach, he's got a football team masquerading as a track team to a certain degree.
You just answered my question.
These guys are fast, but
You
they
just
do
answered
play
my question,
physical.
Rick.
I've
They
seen
do,
them.
Rick.
They'll
They do.
hit
They
you.
will hit you in the mouth. They
They
do,
will
Rick.
hit you.
And you know what I like about him?
Well, Ohio State looked to have
They'll
speed,
hit you too.
The
Yeah.
thing with this
But-
guy here, he falls under what tree? Nick Saban.
He's been around Saban. You like Oregon. You're picking Oregon.
Oregon is fast,
You
man.
think that's the
They are
marquee
fast.
game over Georgia and Notre Dame?
I do. I do.
Those are the two.
Yeah. I mean, you got
Those
number
are-
1
well,
unbeaten.
you
You
got-
got all the drama around
You do.
Ohio State.
You got co-featured games, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. I'm not saying no.
Who's the
Georgia
other
and Notre
one?
Dame.
Who's the other one?
But
Oh, Boise.
we're going
What
to get
is
to that.
Boise doing
But
with
it's
a
Notre
bye?
Dame. Unfortunately, Freeman's got to deal with Notre Dame's blowout losses to Alabama. I don't know how many times. Remember in the years past?
Yeah.
When they
Yeah.
went against the best in the SEC.
Yeah.
That's my point. All right. So so we're all picking Oregon.
Oh, no doubt.
All right. Now you got Penn State and Boise State. David Goliath, little Boise State.
Yeah.
What is Boise? How does Boise State get a bye?
Mountain West champ?
Yeah, they are.
Mountain West champ. Ashton Gentry.
Whoop-dee-doo.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Look, Franklin got a big one finally. Got a big win.
They did.
All right.
Well, they kind of served that one up for him too.
A little bit.
I mean, how could
A little bit.
the 6th seed in your first 2 games against SMU and Boise
And
State?
Boise State.
How
Yeah.
did- how
I
does
got to
that
go in
work?
the Nittany line. So we're all going Penn State.
We are.
All
We
going
are.
with the Goliath
that's
over
gonna be a
David. Up
no-brainer
against
on
the
that one, Rick.
clock. Tommy Johns from Iowa High School. Yellow Jacket football coming up next day.
Coors Banquet, the same brewing tradition since 1873. When you're the favorite beer of rock stars and cowboys, you don't compromise. That's our legacy. What do you want to go down in history for? Start your legacy. Coors Banquet.
What's bugging you? Is it roaches? They're the first pest you think of for indoor bugs and a health threat. At J&J, we offer weapons to eliminate and prevent infestation of your home or business. Let us take care of what's bugging you. Contact us today for a free inspection.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment.
Dave's back on.
Coors Light. Choose chill.
Welcome back in to Caesar Sportsbook Horseshoe Lake Charles. Welcoming in on our 4th chair and in our 4th chair. It's been a while. Good to see you. Tommy Johns, head football coach, Iowa High School. Congratulations. Lake Charles American Press High School Coach of the Year in Southwest Louisiana,
deserved.
number 2 for you.
Second time.
Second time,
deserved.
multiple winner. Is it like winning the Heisman?
I never won the Heisman.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Hey, congratulations.
Well
I hope
deserved.
you had a
Well
great
deserved.
holiday season. All right, Yellow Jackets, another district run, another run deep in the playoffs. You lose on the road. Franklington, tough team. Were they number one?
Yeah.
Number one. How do you get over the hump? How do you get over the hump? Coaches that get that
that's
close.
That's got to be the next step. It's tough.
Yeah.
We were there 2 years ago, and then that was kind of the name of the game going into the week. All right, how do we figure out a way to get over the hump?
That hump.
And
By over the hump, you mean into the dome?
into the dome.
Yeah.
Into the dome.
next game would be
at
there.
first, 2 years ago was our first time in the history of the school even to get to the semifinals. So that in itself was an accomplishment, and everybody was fired up about it. But boy, you get a taste of that. Like you want, everybody wants to get to the dome, when you fall 6 points short this year on the road, 4 hours away.
Is the road the difference? How much do you play into that if you would have had a home game?
Man, we've actually kind of gone back and forth with that because 2 years ago it was such a distraction because of the fact that it's not negative. It's in the standpoint of there's so many people that want to do things for you that week, and I mean you're all over the place, and then ticket sales, setting up the field, bringing in extra bleachers, all that type of stuff. You worried about that as opposed to
good point.
The game. It was nice to get on a bus and just go. You show up and you play.
You play.
That was nice about it.
No, that's valid. Never
So
thought about it.
it goes both ways, but you're also playing at their home field.
Yeah.
The crowd's going to be in their favor, which we travel really, really well. We have some really good fans and supporters, and we're very fortunate in that aspect, and we just fell a little short.
The refs, they called a good game.
It is what it is, So we'll leave it at that.
It is what it is.
That means no.
Had to throw that in.
I'd like to see the report you wrote on it.
Yeah.
All right, I've been covering sports here over 40 years. Most of that time, Highway was an afterthought in high school football. Really a little before you got there, but last 10, maybe a little bit longer than that. Always been a top-notch program. Is the demographics of Highway changed, or what has been the key to getting Highway there every year?
I think that there's several things that are involved in that. Number one, like you said, people are moving that way.
Yeah, that's
so our
what
enrollment has increased. It hasn't increased so much to where it's just like we're not talking 400 or 500 kids more. We're talking probably 100, 150. We're right around that 600 mark, which you're flirting on that 4A, 3A line, which we just got bumped to 4A this year. But the way the playoffs are structured now, it really doesn't matter because we're going to be in that Division II, which is with all the 4As anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I think the biggest deal, 10 years ago, they built the middle school on campus. And we have total control over the middle school.
That's
a feeder program.
But
that's exactly
at the same time, we didn't have a full staff either with the middle school. So we had it, but we didn't have it. We weren't using it to the best of what we should have in the standpoint of, but we couldn't do it. We couldn't coach the high school team and the middle school team.
Yeah.
But COVID hit and the hurricane, and so in Jeff Davis Parish, they played in the winter because they couldn't play in the fall.
Right.
So they called us. They said, "Hey, would y'all like to join our league?" I said, "Oh, absolutely."
Yeah.
So when we finish, we go coach the middle school in the winter.
Yeah.
So the last 4 years, we've coached the middle school kids in the winter. So when they come up with us, so it's really, really good, and they go basically right into spring training with us. So they finish their middle school season as an 8th grader.
Yeah.
They turn around 2 months later and they come in the spring ball.
And the game plan doesn't change that much either, Coach. That's what I figured. Coach, with being in Highway, do you feel you at a advantage or disadvantage? Then when you look at some of the local high schools that are here in Lake Charles that have different parameters that they deal with, how does it help you or hurt you being in Highway? Is it an advantage or I guess a disadvantage to you? Because you're out there in Highway, how can you get kids to come and be a part of your program when you're limited?
So I think the only way you can do things like that, you have to have you got to run a clean program, a good program, a respectable program, and obviously winning helps.
Yeah.
So, but every year we're trying to do something. We're adding on to the stadium or some sort of facility change. It's no different than what you see at colleges. You're trying to upgrade, the most you can, and you want it to be an attractable place. It's a great school. We're an A school. It's just kind of where everything falls now. You look at a couple of decades ago, Lake Charles was flourishing, and everybody's kind of moved out this way. So
Yep.
it's kind of hard to put your thumb on it, but that to me is the biggest thing. People have just moved that way, and
Yeah.
we have a great setup. Like
Great
it's
setup
just-
indeed.
And you got a
Nobody
great
in Lake
culture
Charles
going.
has that.
Yeah.
Never
You're right.
has had that.
No.
You're right.
There are no true feeder schools in
You're right.
Calcasieu Parish, with the exception of like DeQuincy and probably Vinton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nobody in Lake
Yeah.
Charles has a true feeder.
That's a good point. Tommy Johns,
It
head
is.
football coach with Iowa High School. They went all the way to the semifinals of 4A, losing on the road to Franklinton, and
Yep.
got close. Final 2 minutes. You and I talked off camera before in regards to the state of high school football in this region. Look, Fusilier title. Westlake has done some. You obviously have been close. We've had the smaller to medium, but the 5As. Yep. What is the status of talent level in this region? Is it as good as it was 10, 15 years ago, or is it a struggle? And I say that with
kinda
Jennings.
Sure.
Yeah.
The Etienne
Kinda was
boys.
my-
All right, you
right.
got Travis over in the NFL with the Jags. You got
Yeah.
Trevor with Georgia. There's some pockets,
Yeah.
but overall, give us your sense.
To me, overall, like today, and if we're going to compare it to 15, 20 years ago, I don't think it's where it was.
Not as strong.
No, but that comes with this too. Keep this in mind. It's not a knock on anybody, but
Yeah.
you look at enrollment. So like, for instance, I went to LaGrange. We were a 5A school back then.
Yeah.
Okay, LaGrange's enrollment's probably dropped down to 800. Washington Marion's enrollment has dropped to 800. Our Iowa has increased. All right.
You're right.
So now Sam Houston's growing. You see
Good
how
point.
well
Yep.
they've done here lately.
Yeah.
So but to me overall, it's just I think it kind of gets scattered, and you don't hear about it as much because I just think it's my personal opinion. We have too many schools in Calcasieu. I think you have 13 football playing schools in Calcasieu Parish.
That
So
was
your
my
players
point.
are kind of spread out all over the place.
Yeah.
And it's kind of somewhat, it can be easy to miss, or it looks like the area doesn't have them as a whole. And there's going to be
13 football
Yeah.
playing schools?
I think you got 10 in
I
the
never thought of that.
10 in
Yeah.
just the public, and you got charter,
Yeah.
LCCP,
No, good.
Hamilton, and St. Louis. So
Yeah.
We're going to leave it there. Up against the clock. Tommy Johns is going to be
Yeah.
back. We're going to pick his brain about the transfer portal.
We got a lot to talk about.
High school NIL and a whole lot more when
Yeah.
SoundOff returns to Caesar Sportsbook. Stay there.
What's bugging you?
Is it ants? They're crazy, tiny, irritating pests outside trying to get in. At J&J, we offer weapons to locate, eliminate, and prevent their entering your home or business. Let us take care of what's bugging you. Contact us today for a free inspection.
All right, we're back at Caesar Sportsbook, Horseshoe Lake Charles, chatting with Iowa head football coach Tommy Johns, one of the brightest and best coaches in the region. Hope you had a great Christmas, by the way. You got everything you wanted? Santa Claus was good?
Always.
does.
Always does.
Always comes through.
And congratulations again, second recipient of the Lake Charles American Press Southwest Louisiana High School Football Coach of the Year.
His second
Congratulations.
Well deserved.
Second time, that's
Things
right.
like 100
Excellent,
years
excellent.
old.
All right. We like leaning on you. You're an introspective guy. You're a smart guy. We're going to lean on you in regards to the portal and things that might be bugging high school football that's college football related. And here, I'll start here. I have been hammering this point home that the transfer portal was going to contract high school recruiting. The opportunities were going to be less because of why? All the Brian Kellys of the world, all the Dan Lannings and Kirby Smarts, they're going to go, and even the Matt Viators, going to go to the portal and get a guy with 1 or 2 years of college experience. Why not? All right. They all talk about recruiting high school as the basis of their foundations. Good talk, but they still milking the portal, if you will. Has it indeed, in your opinion, contracted the opportunities for high school football players to get scholarships and opportunities?
That's a fact. I mean, that's not hearsay, that's a fact. Like, I mean, it's just the days of, unless you're just a 4 or 5 star player, or even a 3-star, you're not gonna, like having 15, 20 offers. Those days are
Gone.
kind of gone. You have to, I mean, on our end, trying to get the film to all these coaches, you can get the film to them, and they're going to evaluate them and all that, but to get the actual offer now, relative to what it was just 3 years ago, is not even a comparison, and it is getting harder and harder and
So
harder.
you're having to sell your players at times? I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Probably always said that.
Yeah.
All right, I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit here because I'm having trouble understanding. I mean, all these guys in the portal that, they're grabbing, well, those guys were in high school at one time.
Right.
I mean, they've got to come from high school to get in the portal mixer, I guess you could call it. So why is it they can't make that first step?
So to me, I guess my first question has always been, at what point are we going to run out of players in the portal? You're signing less and less high school kids, right? To your point. So at what point are we going to run out of players? You follow me?
Good point.
So,
very good point.
Like, to me, it's going to have to dry out. You would think at some point, they're still going to be wrong. They're still signing lots of high school players, but not close to the amount that it used to be. Probably cut in half, I'd say, on the average, at least. And it all depends on, to me, the recruiting philosophy of that particular program. Some want to live in the portal and sign 1 or 2 high school players. You got some are going to be about half, and some are going to be very little. Like LSU, for example, last couple of years, they're like, we're going to work, we're going to sign high school kids, develop these guys.
Yeah, that's what he said when he first got there.
Right, and don't get me wrong.
This year, Kevin, they signed, I think, 24 high school players.
Yeah, but
I mean, it's still the basis of your program, but to me, you don't have a program anymore. It's year to year.
Yeah.
Like
That's
you're
exactly
developing
right.
a team.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So there's no more development, man.
Coach just said the point. Remember when I told you in school 7 years back, the day of a coach going into a home and sitting in the living room and asking Miss Jones, "Can we have your son for 4 years?" Those days are gone. They're gone.
I think it's
They don't
it's
exist.
less.
And
I
let
think
me
it's
tell you
less.
what the problem is, Coach, that I see
We'll be
with
his
college
stepping
programs
stone.
now. College coaches are put under so much pressure. You can't develop a kid from 1 to 2 years
Win
to come
now.
in. That you got to win now, Coach.
You do.
And going to the portal, that gives you a guy that's already experienced, that know the system, can be coached, rather than bringing in a high school kid, saying we're going to wait two years to develop him. He's a good player, but those days are gone, Coach. I think in what you're saying, you have to sell your kids. You have to, because their chances of getting somewhere decent, it's going to be hard because of this. And I just think the days of a coach going into a kid's home and talking to the parents, they're gone.
How much do you hear, say, your kids' locker room talking stuff? How much are they talking about the college, the chaos in the college ranks right now?
That's probably the biggest thing now with social media and all that, Twitter and all that. And it's the biggest thing I try to get across. Not everybody is going to play college football.
You're exactly right.
Okay, and it's hard.
Yeah.
People have a hard time with that these days. Okay, and
Parents expect.
But you're right, and you like.
Man.
Not every kid is going to sign. You might have 1 or 2. All right, and less are even getting signed now. So how good are you?
Exactly.
Like and who needs you, and what are they looking for, and all these things go into it. And don't get me wrong, they have to shop in the portal. But you do. It's just inevitable. You have to do it. It's just like I said, every program's different. How many guys they want to take out of there, and the risk that's involved with it.
Yeah.
You
Tommy
know, and the
Johns,
money.
head football coach, Iowa High School with the Yellow Jackets, winner for the second time of the Lake Charles American Press Southwest Louisiana High School Football Coach of the Year. The latest court ruling, the Diego Pavia gets a court injunction. Now you have a court saying those 2 years of junior college will not apply to NCAA eligibility. Again, now you got JUCO guys are staying in 2 extra years. He's going to get 7 years now at Vanderbilt.
So you think it's screwed up now?
Holy smokes!
Okay, so let's keep.
Kevin, you can go back and play.
You have a lesser that gets
Wait till
signed
what?
now. So wait till that takes effect, because now you only have 105 as a roster limit, including walk-ons.
That's right.
Yeah.
So your walk-on program 6 can be gone.
You're right.
All right, that's gonna be gone.
You're right.
And then
I think they might adjust that. I think
I
that will
can't see
be
you can
part
give a
of the
kid 2 years.
adjustment.
That's going to be
so
hard.
they've
don't
cut,
know.
but they've
That's
cut
gonna
the
be
amount
hard.
that you can carry now on your roster total.
Yep.
Used to be, I think it was like 120 maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
125, I can't remember, but now I think it's 105.
And
So that's going to flush out your walk-ons.
Like
you know.
Nebraska used to have 180.
Yeah.
Oh, they did.
Sign,
I would
and
know
keep
that in the
them,
Sugar
keep
Bowl,
them up.
yeah.
Look,
No,
Tommy,
believe
it seems like I'm pulling a name from the past. The Prince boys from Sulphur, okay? The Dudley Princes, am I getting it right?
Hadley.
Hadley. goes to McNeese. You know, good solid player. Go to Will Matt Viator do that again, or will he look for that guy, that one or two guys out of your experienced guy out of the quarter? You follow me?
It's tough.
It's just
It's tough.
I just think
It's changed.
those days of I hate have sailed. It's
Coach
gone.
said it.
It is.
It's frustrating. It is. You got to figure out a way to adapt to it. From a high school standpoint, I don't know what you really do to adapt. You got to adapt based on what the college's needs and wants are, and they know you have players.
Yeah.
It's a mere fact that they have a spot for you.
Yeah.
Or your kids.
Final 30 seconds.
So-
What is the relationship for Tommy Johns and Iowa High School with McNeese football coaching over the last 5 or 6 years? And let's include Northwestern State UL. What is the relationship? Is it strong or has it weakened?
I mean, relative to what it was, like I guess in the 90s and early 2000s, because all the guys were from here. It was strong.
Right.
Coach Goff and I had a great relationship. I can't speak for everybody else, but the guy that Coach Reese had recruited our school, we had a good relationship. But I've always said McNeese is a little different. It's so tied to the community and the guys here, and I think that's an advantage for those guys.
Yeah.
But Coach V is going to do a great job, and with the guy he's hired, and they're going to do a really good job of getting the players they need.
Okay. Have a great holiday season.
Thank you.
Appreciate you
y'all
coming
having
in.
us.
I know it's
Thank
busy
you.
time, but we wanted to pick his brain. That is Tommy Johns from Iowa High
Good to
School.
have him.
Round 4, we'll wrap it up when we come back. Stay right there.
Coors Banquet, the same brewing tradition since 1873. When you're the favorite beer of rock stars and cowboys, you don't compromise. That's our legacy. What do you want to go down in history for? Start your legacy. Coors Banquet.
What's bugging you?
Is it termites? The season is now and they are swarming. At J&J Exterminating, we offer some very effective weapons against infestation of your home or business. Let us take care of what's bugging you. Don't wait. Contact us now for a free inspection.
J&J has protected Louisiana homes and businesses for over 60 years.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
All right, welcome back. Hope everybody had a great Christmas week here. Hey, want to remind you, a lot of the prizes and drawings for Christmas is over, but don't forget Horseshoe Casino, the only casino in Southwest Louisiana that offers 100 times odds on craps. It's like an everyday Christmas gift. Come on down to Horseshoe Casino
Thanks
for all
to
that.
Coach Johns. We got to have him back on. He's got a lot of good thoughts.
Yes, and he's on the front line. He's in the trenches.
What's going on.
He's in the trenches.
And being in Iowa, it's hard on him, I feel, because of the fact that his numbers are a little bit lower than what the other high
He's
schools.
4A,
He
Kevin.
said he's growing.
It's going, but it hadn't been that way in some time, guys. Believe me.
But
Believe me. But
you
I have to
know,
commend
we
him on
all
that,
know, organization,
Yeah.
the system, your coaching staff, he can build, and you can keep it growing.
You
and he's
can.
done it.
You
He's
can.
done it. All right.
I commend
I
him
called
for
him.
that,
He's coming back home. I called him a Louisiana soul earlier in the show. Clyde Edwards-Helaire from LSU, one of my favorites, is signed with the New Orleans Saints. I hope he can get it going again.
I hope so too.
He's one
I
of
hope
the-
so too.
He got that spin move going.
I hope so too.
That spin move was.
Yeah.
You know they've watched it on film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He broke more ankles.
Former
with that
first-round pick of the Kansas City Chiefs had a
Yeah.
little issue with this PTSD situation with the shooting years ago.
Yeah.
The Chiefs were kind enough to let him get
They
his
did.
life in order. Now he's
They
with
did.
the New Orleans Saints,
They
and
did.
we wish
Good
him
to be
well
back
on
home.
that. That's Guidry.
Glad to
That's
have
Hobbs. I'm Sarah. We'll see you next time right
Always.
here at SoundOff.